Good morning, people of YouTube. So, after yesterday, I stripping the car. I am aching like hell because I'm too old for this and really I should know better by now. But some people never learn. I've had the most random set of circumstances happen ever. So I bought this steering wheel boss from Amazon for this car. It didn't fit because the spline is far too large a diameter, but the steering wheel boss off the SLK slots straight on. So that's strange. Even stranger, the boss that Amazon sent that was incorrect fits straight on the S13 steering column, which I'm going to use in the SLK. So I've got the wrong boss on the wrong car, but they both work. So I suppose that's the main thing. Nothing is wasted, everything is used. Can't really complain. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to use an S13 steering rack and column on the SLK to get rid of the strange steering box arrangement that probably won't work very well for drifting. On to today. So I decided to give myself an easy set of jobs today because, like I said, I'm aching like hell because I'm too old for this crap. First thing is the steering wheel boss and my nice shiny red steering wheel. And I think I'm going to mount the bucket seat and the hydraulic handbrake today. That'll be a nice little set of jobs ticked off the list. Let's crack on. So, these horrible little bolts you get with most steering boss adapters, I'm not sure whether they're made of chocolate or cheese. You can never do them up tight enough before they round up and the steering wheel inevitably comes loose. The best thing to do really is to buy some better quality hardware to use, which is less likely to round off, but I haven't got time for that for this car, so I'm just going to use a little bit of thread lock, do them up as tight as I can before they round off, and hope the thing stays tight. One super fanboy steering wheel fitted. Next on the list, the bucket seat. So this was a brand new Sparco bucket seat when I went in the SLK. It needs a bloody good clean because the SLK was outside for a little while. And although it was under a cover, it has no boot floor, and I have a cat. And my cat likes to climb in the boot floor and sit in the seat in the car while it's outside. So it's absolutely covered in cat hair. I have to get a hoover on that a little bit later on. I made some mounts previously to go in the SLK. I'm hoping I can just sort of shimmy them around, maybe re-drill them, and it'll bolt straight up. Hopefully. We'll see. This is the one thing I really dislike about BMWs. So the pedals are over there to the right, and then the steering wheel is over to the left. Even with the standard seat, I don't think this is far off the position of the standard seat. It's only a little bit away from the drive tunnel. You're offset. You don't notice when you're driving, just when you're trying to set everything up, it's just a bit strange. Yeah, but that's what it is, that's where it is, that's how it is, that's what we have to put up with. So, on my old e46 build, actually, the other thing is the floors aren't very level, so your GoPro doesn't stand up properly. On my e36 build, I actually moved the column over slightly this way to be in line with the centre of the seat, and that was a nice solution, but it's a lot of hassle to go to with this. I mean, maybe when it comes to the cage I'll have a look at that, just because I can, but for now it'll just have to do where it is. Seat is actually a little bit too low. I'm also going to have to mount this on a sliding seat frame at a later date, because I'd like to teach my wife how to drift. For the time being though, just get the thing in so I can get out to some practice days. So the seat's far too low in that position. It's a shame, because 3 of the mounts bolted straight in with a little jiggle around, but I think what I'm going to do, I've got some 2-inch box. If I mount the 2-inch box in the standard mounting points, and then I can weld some tabs to that and then pick up the bottom of the seat mounts. The seat is just far too low, so a little bit more messing around, but I'd rather be in a comfortable position to drive. So I've cut the box down to size, just need to mark where to drill out, so I can bolt the actual mount points on the car. Probably be easier just to buy a pair of side mounts, but as I want to make the seat slide at a later date anyway, this will be good preparation, ready for that. So I've cut the box, drilled some holes in it, and hole saw through the top to create an access point to do the nuts up. 50mm box is a little bit overkill for this, in all honesty, but I don't have a stock of bits of steel. I literally have to order in what I need. This I ordered in to make the fuel tank protection and mount for the SLK, so I'll have to order some more for that, but it was handy that I had it here because it does serve the purpose. Next thing I need to do is create some mounting brackets to bolt to the seat that I can weld to the box. That's a fairly simple sort of installation, really. So I've just again used a couple of pieces of steel that I bought for something else. This was for the gearbox mount for the SLK. Again, completely overkill, 6mm plate, but I cut a couple of pieces of those, bolted to the bottom of the seat, and I've just sort of sat in position to get a rough idea of where I need to be. So the nuts are just off, the bolt heads I should say, are just off the back of the box at the back. This mount needs to be as hard up against the access hole as possible, and then square the seat off. I can just mark roughly where it needs to be, just in case it moves again. I'm just going to put a couple of tacks in there, so then I can undo them from the bottom of the seat and then weld it in properly. So I've marked the seat and it's all in position. I'm just going to put a couple of tacks just to hold the plates in place and hopefully not set fire to the seat while I'm at it. That would be bad. So now I should be able to unbolt it from the underside of the seat, and then weld the plates in properly, if I can figure out where I've left the socket. So excuse Pickers coming out, they're not the best welds I've ever done, because I cannot see a thing at my welding mask. I need a new one, but solid enough, that'll do me, as long as they don't break. I think I'm going to cut the front pieces off and use them to gusset, well, probably the inside, just to give that a bit of extra strength. I think that'd be a slight improvement. So while I'm waiting for the paint to dry on the seat mount, I've just laid some really ugly slugs on. I'm having issues with video editing with Premiere Pro. If anybody out there knows of an alternative software, something that would be sort of fairly easy to use, fairly easy to pick up, but still can, you know, perform the sort of tasks that Premiere Pro can, I think I'm going to make the switch over. It's I'm getting the blue screen of death. It seems to be a common problem. Read loads of reports, nobody seems to have got to the bottom of it, and I think the easiest thing for me to do before I get too accustomed to working with that particular software is just simply change software. So if anybody has got any sort of recommendations as to what software to use, please let me know in the comments. That'd be really helpful. Well, I definitely wasn't going to record that on camera for prosperity without at least giving it a flat disc. Not too bad. The welds look a little bit like it's been welded by the same kind of people that weld garden furniture or gym equipment, but in all fairness, like I said, I can't see a thing out of my welding mask, and I'm not really one of those hashtag weld porn kind of guys. Is it joined? Yes. Is it strong? Yes. Good enough. Right, let's bolt that to the seat, and that's the front section done. I'm going to have to figure out the rear. I did test it on the seat after I welded it to make sure that nothing had sort of warped and twisted out of position, and it does still bolt to the underside. So that's a good start. What an idiot. I've bolted it in the wrong way round. Right, let's try again. So the rear mount is now done. Again, some ugly slugs on there, but it's nice and strong, welded both sides. GoPro battery went flat again. So, where was I? Yeah, the mounting plates are a little bit of an odd shape, because I just used the ones that were on the Mercedes, so I had that kicking around, that was the right size. So now we need to mount that on the back of the seat, and the seat can go in for the final time, hopefully. which way round does it go on? Pointing forward, I believe. Yep. And I've put the bracket on the wrong way round again.
Don't.
So I had to give a little bit of a bolt with the hammer just to get the hole locations in the right place, because when you do the bolts up on the seat there is wiggle room to move, but that is now completely solid, mounted in position, and yeah, ready to go. So the next thing I think will be the hydraulic handbrake. So I'm now sat in my nice new bucket seat. Well, newly mounted bucket seat, I should say. Anyway, this is the hydro I've got. It's just a cheap one, but the cheat code is replace the cheap nasty cylinder that comes with these cheap hydros with a Wilwood, and they're good to go. I made some temporary bracket for the SLK, but it's only in thin steel and it's quite sort of flexible. But it does give me an idea of where to mount it and how it's going to sit. So that's not too bad. I think I need to replicate that bracket without the leg on the front, and that'll just bolt to the side of the tunnel under there, and then just down to the top. There's more space in here than there is the Mercedes too, which is nice. I don't think I've got any plate of a suitable size, but I'll have a look. We'll see what we can come up with. So I mentioned that I have some toxic traits when it comes to car building, and I'm at the moment heavily involved with my absolute worst by far. I'm going to let myself off because it's only a practice day car. But I have a habit of not having the materials I need to do a job and just making it work out of whatever I have laying around. And 9 times out of 10 I'm disappointed with the results. I should have learnt by now, but I haven't. That is a part of a trailer hitch lock, and that is a random piece of steel in a different gauge that I had sitting around that I've managed to cut down and use to mount the handbrake. This isn't one of the worst examples of this situation. There have been far worse. There was a time when I used about 50 or 60 tech screws to mount a hydraulic handbrake in my S13 because I had no other fixings and out of welding gas at the time, but we won't talk about that. Anyway, the position is fairly decent there. I don't like it right beside the steering wheel because then when you're using the wheel a lot, you tend to catch your hand on it. So I like it just in front, so you reach forward for the handbrake. That's about perfect there. So I can drill a couple of holes, mount that, and then make a reinforcing bracket that goes diagonally down from the front bracket to lower down the tunnel, just to stop the thing flapping around. I like my hydros to be nice and solid. So let's get on with that. So yeah, that's a bit of a weird sort of half welded, half bolted kind of bodgy mount for the hydro, but it's done, it's solid, it's not going to move. So yeah, bolt the hydro in and that'll be me done for the day. So that's another day done. It's taken a lot longer than I'd imagined, always does when you do these things. So I've mounted the seat, mounted the hydro and put the new steering wheel in. Doesn't sound like a lot for a whole day's work, but when you've got limited tools, limited materials to work with, and you just have to try and make things work, that's how these things seem to go. But progress is progress, and we'll see you soon.